Hello, hello everybody. Happy Sunday. Wow, what a Sunday it is. It is still absolutely gorgeous outside. That sun is shining, the breeze is divine. It is absolutely gorgeous, and I really hope that you caught my Instagram story this morning telling you to get outside for a walk because it was freaking amazing. Oh my goodness, we've waited so long for this beautiful weather and it's finally here. I don't know how long it's going to hang around, but I really hope it hangs for a bit longer than it did last time. So let me know in the comments what you got up to this weekend with this gorgeous weather. I'd love to know. I didn't do anything super exciting, so I'd love you to make me jealous. Tonight is going to be an open Q&A. So many of you have sent through questions that via email this week that you wanted me to answer, and I'm going to endeavour to answer them as much as I can, but of course I actually can't answer them all or we would be here all night. So I've kept them on file for next time, and I tried to pick some that maybe would be in a little bit more of a similar topic and just group together a little bit tonight so that we didn't kind of have too many random things. But just know that if your question doesn't get answered tonight, I'll either address it in another live or I might just even address it through the group as well. So as always, it is a hashtag live. If you are here, guys, make sure that you're commenting below. Please always do that when you log on. Hashtag live if you're here, hashtag replay if you're watching later, just to make sure that those comments are coming up, because I do want to do a little giveaway tonight for those that are here live, because it is the first of the month, but I can't do that if the comments don't come up. So just make sure you pop a comment below. Make sure that you're commenting, reacting, liking, disliking if I say something that you don't like. Make sure you do that too. All feedback is good feedback, whatever you like as we go along. So I still can't see comments coming up on there, which is a bit annoying. So, which means I'm going to have to double up. Just give me a second while I bring my screen up on the laptop behind the camera. It's just being a bit slow. I still haven't cracked the code on why the comments come up sometimes and why they don't. Okay, beautiful. So Kylie's here. Hi, Kylie. Hi, Jane. Jane's living in Queensland. I reckon it's probably warm there all the time at the moment, Jane. And hi, Sandra. Nice to see you too. And I can see a few other people jumping on now that haven't commented yet. That's okay. Alrighty. Make sure that you are commenting tonight so that you can have you might have a prize at the end of the night. We'll see. Okay. The first question we're going to get to tonight is one that came up in the Facebook group this week, which was, are herbal teas as good for hydration as plain water? I love this question. It's a really good question. It's been asked a lot of times and it comes up in our challenges a lot. So to be blunt, the answer is plain water is always best. Okay. Preferably filtered if you can, but of course it's not a big deal to drink unfiltered water. It's not a huge deal, of course, unless you live somewhere where the sewage system is awful and you can't drink the water. That's common sense, right? But as always, plain water is best. Now, at the end of the day, tea is actually fine, okay? We're always going to say plain water is best, but tea is fine. Herbal teas would be better than black tea, but don't split hairs over that either, okay? It's not worth getting your knickers in a twist over, okay? Herbal teas are things like green tea, peppermint tea, fruit teas. You know, one of my favourite ones is the strawberry, loganberry, cranberry, you know, things like that. Cranberry teas. Chamomile teas are one as well. Nothing like that actually adds to your calorie balance for the day, and for some people it does break up that monotony of drinking plain water. In some of those teas, you may even be getting some of those micronutrients that your body needs, especially like from some of the fruit ones. You might be, you might not be too. All right, it's really hard to tell. And you won't ever really find that the tea companies will market that because the trace elements would be too small for them to guarantee. But there would be an element of it that you'd be getting some micronutrients. So that's a really good thing. But like I said, it's not enough. It's not enough to count, all those sorts of things. But they can have properties in them that have an effect on your bodies as well. So things like chamomile tea. Some people find chamomile tea really soothing and relaxing. Other people find green tea relaxing, and then other people again find green tea a stimulant. Okay, so it all varies on how your body tolerates it. So long story short, I don't see any issue with drinking herbal teas instead of water for some of your water intake each day. But it is best to drink plain water, okay? So try and make sure that you get plain water in your body at least 50% of the time. So if you're drinking 2 litres of water, make sure that at least 1 litre of that is from plain water. That could be hot or cold, doesn't matter, but make sure that you're getting at least 50% from plain. Now, while we're on that topic, I can't ignore black tea and coffee, black tea. They are also calorie-free, but sometimes they can have a dehydrating effect on the body. And while they are not necessarily a poor choice, I wouldn't recommend them as your water intake. So I wouldn't count them in your intake for the day. They could actually be having more of a negative impact on your hydration rather than improving it, okay? Doesn't always happen for everybody. Some people find caffeine a diuretic, which means you go into the toilet a lot more. It's not always good for some people either. So you really need to know what your body likes. Just quickly to finish off this first question while we're on the topic of water, unflavored sparkling, mineral water and even soda water are pretty much the same as plain water, okay? So they generally shouldn't have any calories at all. It's just the way they come is a bit different. But if the water is bubbly, like soda water or sparkling, just know that it will have some chemicals in it to make it that way, to change its form. It's mainly oxygen, but you never know, carbon dioxide goes in there too to a point. So you need to make up in your own mind whether or not you want that in your system on a regular basis. Not a huge deal in my opinion. It's getting water in. And if it means that you're getting more water in your body because you don't like plain water, then I'd say go for it. Don't worry about it. Jane says, it's beautiful weather in Queensland. Thanks, Jane, for sharing. We finally got beautiful weather here too. Thank goodness. Okay, the next question I wanted to address tonight was actually a trigger that I managed to compound with some other questions that came through in the email. So the question was, I want to know, by eliminating milk, are we getting enough calcium? This is a huge topic, so I thought I'd go guns blazing at this one because it's a great question and one that I feel many women need answered. You see, calcium is an extremely important mineral for the body. It makes up our bones, our teeth, our nails, our hair to some extent. It's always a very important mineral to have in the body as we are growing because we need to develop properly, right? So as kids, we need that so that our bones and our teeth and whatever grows properly. But as we are older, calcium is important for maintaining that bone health, maintaining the strength and size of your bones and preventing bone breakage. And therefore it prevents diseases like osteoporosis, yeah? Now the question is about milk though. And if we cut it out, are we getting enough calcium? The answer is, yeah, you probably are. If you're cutting milk out, you're probably getting calcium in other foods like yogurt and cheese, cottage cheese, right? But I actually wonder if that question that came through, and I don't know if she's on here tonight, I hope she is so that she can hear her answer, but is the underlying question meant to be, if we give up dairy, are we getting enough calcium? So this is what I'm actually going to address in more detail, if that's okay. You can let me know in the comments if that's okay or not. So the answer could be a no, to be brutally honest. If you are not eating other foods with calcium, or you are not taking a calcium supplement, and you are dairy-free, you might not be getting enough calcium. You see, women are recommended to get at least 1,200 milligrams of calcium into their bodies every day, and you can go anywhere up to 2,500 milligrams. If you're really serious about this, you'll write that one down. So you want to get at least 1,200 milligrams in, and you don't want to go more than 2,500 milligrams. This is just to maintain your current level of calcium in your body, in your bones, right? Once you hit the age of 35, approximately, we know everybody's different, your body's ability to increase calcium levels significantly decreases. And from here, it's about maintaining those levels because it does diminish each year that you get older, right? As you get older, the calcium in your bones and your teeth and whatever diminishes, it decreases. So from mid-30s onwards, your goal really is to be maintaining that calcium level in your body for good bone health. Now, this level of calcium is really simple to hit if you are eating dairy products as a regular part of your diet. But if you don't eat dairy, don't worry, we got you covered. All right, I'm going to give you some tips. There are other foods that have calcium that you can eat or drink to keep your levels up. And I'm going to list them for you now in order of the highest amount of calcium. The first one is a calcium fortified orange juice, right? That's right up there in the top 3 of things that you can get calcium from. Didn't know it existed, right? I never would have put that on my list. A calcium fortified orange juice. Apparently you can buy it. Canned sardines in oil were in the top 6 as well. Tofu, soybeans, calcium fortified breakfast cereals. So in breakfast cereals that actually advertise added calcium, it's probably got added iron with it as well. Spinach, kale, broccoli, anything that is a green cruciferous vegetable pretty much. Turnip, that was a surprising one. Chia seeds and beans, right? So you can see that there are many foods that have calcium that are not dairy products, right? There's a whole stack there. And in fact, I had to chuckle a little bit when I was doing this research because looking at this list, you can see that many of these foods, if you've done one of our programs before, these are the types of foods that are in our 8-week challenges and in our Inner Fit programs, which is so good. So that means if you're on those programs, you're probably getting enough calcium, whether you're doing dairy or not. If you are doing dairy, then you'll well and truly be getting enough. So your calcium levels should be up if you're eating those foods, right? If you're not dairy and you're eating those foods. If you do eat dairy, then of course you'll be winning. But if none of those foods are regularly in your diet and you don't see yourself adding them in, if none of them entice you at all, which is okay too, you can always take a calcium supplement instead. So there are plenty on the market. Just make sure that you are getting 1,000 milligrams a day, no more than 1,000 milligrams a day from a tablet, all right? You don't want to overload on calcium. Now, here is something really important that you need to know about calcium if you want to maintain your levels, which you do, ladies, you absolutely do. This is really important. I don't know whether you know this. You need to let me know in the comments if you know this already. You cannot absorb calcium. Your body will not absorb it if you do not have enough vitamin D in your body. I'm going to say that one again. Your body will not absorb calcium if you don't have enough vitamin D. Let me know in the comments if you knew that. You see, the 2 vitamins, the 2 minerals, act together. Calcium and vitamin D work together to protect your bones. The calcium helps to build and maintain bones, while the vitamin D helps your body to effectively absorb that calcium. So even if you are taking in enough calcium, if your vitamin D levels are really low, you're wasting that calcium. You are actually not absorbing it, or you're not absorbing all of that. Yeah, Jane didn't know it. Sandra's got low bone density, so she takes more than 3. Yeah, that's cool. Did you know about the vitamin D though, Sandra? That's what I'd like to know. So vitamin D, I'm going to valid segue. This is a valid segue into vitamin D, right? So I told you this was like a rabbit hole. Calcium has opened this up. So let's have a chat about vitamin D. It has so many other benefits for your body, and the best way to get vitamin D is to get outside, right? You might not get so much of it right now, but get outside in the sunshine. But of course, being here in Australia, we get sunburn, skin cancer, all those sorts of things. So if you want to look for foods that you can use to top up your vitamin D, Some of these foods, the 4 main foods that you need to be eating regularly are fish, eggs, mushrooms, and any vitamin D fortified foods. So foods that specifically say they've got extra vitamin D in them. Now, if you're anything like me and don't eat fish, I don't eat fish, can't eat seafood, and you have no idea really what fortified foods to look for, that kind of leaves you mushrooms and eggs, right? I suggest you probably grab a vitamin D supplement from the chemist to take each day. It's always a safe bet to make sure. Now, my personal recommendation for getting vitamin D is time outside every day. It's going to do more good for you than just your vitamin D. You know that. I preach that every day. Also, you need a balanced diet of essential fatty acids. So vitamin D is essentially found in fatty acids. So make sure you're getting the good fats. And remember, do not be scared of eating fats. They are an essential part of the female diet. And you can see why. There's vitamin D in essential fatty acids. So make sure that you're eating enough of them. And a regular vitamin D supplement, right? I do recommend taking a vitamin D supplement. They do, Jane. They do package vitamin D and calcium together. They absolutely do. There's a reason for that, yeah? So while we're on the topic of vitamin D, let's have a quick look at what it does for the body. Vitamin D boosts your mood. It boosts your immune system. It helps to fight and stave off infections. It helps to improve brain function and focus. We all could do with a little bit of that, I'm sure. It helps to assist with staving off body fat accumulation. Hello, who doesn't want body fat gone? And it can lower the risk of high blood pressure, arthritis, and it has been linked to staving off type 2 diabetes. Okay, so it can assist with all of those things. So my recommendation on vitamin D, get some. Make it an absolute priority. Get as many of those foods in your system as you can with it. Get outside and take a supplement, okay? I think you'll find that you can have quite a bit of vitamin D before you, recommended. So that's fine. Now, like I said before, this is a valid segue because I've been wanting to talk to you guys for a little while about supplements and which ones I recommend taking, because I know that there is a world of information out there that might be confusing. You need to take this one and this one and this one and this one. Well, you don't, okay? Especially if you are committed to eating a varied, balanced diet. Now, I know that we are not all eating a balanced diet because we are busy human beings and we are creatures of habit. So quite often we are eating the same foods. We might have spaghetti on Mondays, pizza on Tuesdays, sausages and mash on Wednesdays, we take out Fridays for moving on, whatever it is. We are creatures of habit, and we do not always eat a regularly balanced diet with a whole stack of foods, okay? So taking vitamins can seem like a really easy choice to say yes to, but then when you get down to the nitty gritty, well, I need this one and I need this one, and do I really need this one? And this one helps with this, and I'm experiencing that, so maybe I should grab that as well. And all of a sudden you've dropped $200 on, 8 bottles of tablets, and then you forget to take them anyway. So what I wanted to do with this, because I had a couple of questions about vitamins come through this week, so I thought I'd bundle it all together with this one about calcium and tell you the only four vitamins and minerals really that you need to be functioning at your best, okay? So if you've got any questions, make sure that you are asking them in the comments. I'm periodically flicking over to check them. But there's 4, and I've already gone through 2 of them. Calcium, particularly for ladies, please make sure you're getting calcium, and vitamin D. They're the first 2. Make sure you're getting enough of those. The next one I wanted to talk about was iron, right? So when you are iron deficient, you feel like crap. You do. You are exhausted. You're tired. You don't have any energy. You are sore in different parts of your body that you didn't even know could be sore. And you really don't feel like yourself. Guys, let me know if you have ever been low on iron. I would hazard a guess, and it would be 99.9% of the women in this group. Now, iron has many benefits, including, are you ready for this? Improved energy levels, okay? It is actually responsible for carrying oxygen through your blood to your brain and around your body to your muscles. So when there's not enough iron in your blood cells carrying that oxygen, your brain's tired, your muscles are tired. That's exactly what iron's for, is for carrying oxygen through the blood. You have iron gives you enhanced athletic performance. Now, even if you're not an athlete, having an enhanced athletic performance means you move better. You go about your daily work, your daily life better because your muscles are in good nick. Iron boosts your immune system. Hello, yes, please. It boosts your cognitive function. So as we talked about, it gets the oxygen to the brain. The more iron you've got, the better your brain functions. And hello, it promotes healthy sleep. It promotes peaceful sleep. I'll take some of that, thank you. All right, so I can see comments. Yep, definitely had iron deficiency most of my life. Most women do. It seems to start when we start menstruating in our teens, right? For some kids, it's earlier than that. For some women, it never becomes a problem. But everybody's different. Foods with iron. You might know these, you might not. I've gone with the 4 most readily available groups that you can get your hands on that you're probably eating. Red meat, pork and poultry, right? There's iron in those things. There's been a lot of conversation in the last 5 years about how much iron do you really get from red meat. You do, okay? It is a mineral in those animals. So red meat, pork and poultry. Seafood is another one. Plenty of minerals in seafood. Beans, believe it or not, and your dark green leafy vegetables, your green cruciferous vegetables that we talk about a million times in the InnerFit programs, things like spinach, kale, bok choy, broccoli, all those sorts of things. And if you notice, if you've been paying attention for the last 12 minutes, 15 minutes, you would note that many of those actually are the same foods listed for vitamin D and calcium. So if you're switched on tonight, which I know you are, because you always are, you could be eating these foods and getting a real kick of essential vitamins and minerals, guys. So the same foods are coming up. I hope you're seeing that pattern of, well, if I eat green cruciferous vegetables a little bit more, I'm going to increase my iron, I'm going to increase my vitamin D, and I'm going to increase my calcium, okay? You might not like to eat loads of spinach. I'm not saying eat stacks and stacks of it, but I'm saying if you're not including enough of it in, it's an easy way to do it, right? The last one I want to talk to you about, I'm not sure whether or not you guys know this one. I'd be really keen to see your comments. But the last vitamin that really is essential for female health is vitamin B. It's not talked about as much as the other ones are, but it is an absolutely critical component of the female body. It really is. All of the vitamin Bs, all the B vitamins, right? We're not just going B6 or whatever. We're doing all of them, are responsible for helping the body to convert food into energy. So, i.e., your metabolism. It helps your metabolism function properly. It helps to create new blood cells. You want that. Trust me, you want that. Let's not go into why, but you want that. And it's also responsible for maintaining healthy skin cells, right? You want that. Looking younger, lots of vitamin B will help with your skin cell reproduction. It helps with the function of your brain cells. Again, focus, clarity up here in the brain, and many of your other body tissues. So as you can see, vitamin B is critical. It's also really good for balancing hormones. Wherever you're at in your cycles, wherever you're at in your life, it's really good for balancing, helping to balance hormones. Now, I'm going to do a bit of a flip on this topic and tell you the things you might notice if your vitamin B levels are less than optimal. I wonder if you recognize any of these. Anemia, which is low iron, right? Depression, digestive issues, fatigue, weakness, incontinence, jaundice. So if you're severely down in your B vitamins, you'll be really yellow. You may have a lack of senses, so taste, smell, those sorts of things. Memory loss, paranoia, shortness of breath. Now, we're talking some real serious things here, ladies, right? And I'm sure that most of them don't apply to any of you. But this is how important getting B vitamins into your body really is. And I'm sure the top 3 or 4 are things that you probably go, oh yeah, you know what, that makes sense. The anemia, the depression, the digestive issues, and the fatigue, right? They're the things you're most likely to notice first before you hit memory loss and paranoia. But it all adds up and it all comes in little bits and pieces, so you might not notice it. So it is really critical for your overall health that you are getting enough vitamin Bs in your diet. So here are some foods that include vitamin B. Meat, again, especially things like liver, seafood, poultry, eggs, dairy products, legumes. Does anyone actually eat legumes? I don't think I've ever eaten legumes. Let me know. Peanuts are a legume. Peanuts are a legume. Correct me if I'm wrong, but peanuts are a legume. Peanuts are a legume. Leafy greens, again, green leafy vegetables. Come on, ladies, if you haven't seen the signs yet. Seeds and fortified foods. So things like breakfast cereals that have added B vitamins, even nutritional yeast. If you've not gotten onto nutritional yeast yet, get onto it. It adds like a, I add it to my tofu, and it adds like a cheesy flavor to it, but it's not, it's yeast. It's good yeast, right, for you, for your body. So as you can see, again, many of those foods are also on the list for iron, vitamin D, and calcium. So if you're not eating any of those, that would be the first step to start thinking about maybe adding some more of those things in. However, if you do eat lots of these foods already, then your chances are pretty good that your vitamin B levels are at a good level, right? That they're at a good level and you probably don't have anything to worry about. So how can you tell if you've got a deficiency in these vitamins and minerals? Well, the most accurate way to tell is a blood test, right? But let's not jump to that yet. If you generally feel well, energetic most of the time, all those sorts of things, then you're fine. You're probably fine, right? If you're getting loads of those foods every day and you feel pretty good, then you're likely to be fine too. If you are not getting any or many of those symptoms we identified on a regular basis or to an extent that's bothering you, then you're probably fine, okay? But if you do have some of those symptoms and you know you could eat more foods in particular for a vitamin or mineral, start there. Just start there. It's always a better option than going to see a doctor, right? So if there's a few foods on there you think, yeah, I really could eat more of those, do that first. But like I said, the most accurate way to tell your vitamin and mineral levels is to get a blood test and ask specifically for those types of things. Wow, 28 minutes in, and I took you on a journey, didn't I? I really went on a journey. So one question about taking milk out of the diet actually led to a whole discussion, which I wanted to have with you anyway, about vitamins and minerals. So in the comments below, tell me, what are the 4 vitamins that you should have? What are the 4 vitamins? Tell me in the comments below. There is a lot of information there, and I really did feel like it needed to be covered for your overall health. So I'm hoping that you picked up something new tonight. I'm hoping that you picked up something important for your health. I'd love to know what you learned. We're always looking for feedback, so make sure you're giving it to me, good or bad. I'd love to know in the comments what you learned, what did you relate to, or maybe what did you already know and you're already implementing, because maybe you've got some strategies that somebody else could pick up. Maybe you have. All right, I'm going to do a scroll. Look at all those emojis. I love that. Yep, peanuts are a legume. I thought they were. I've got a child allergic to tree nuts, but not peanuts because they're a legume. They're not a nut. It's interesting. Kathy, so is it better to get a multivitamin or an individual one? And this is the thing too, like either or, Kathy, multivitamins are probably cheaper. You just want to make sure you're getting some of all of those. If you're going to get a multivitamin, make sure there's enough of those in there. Sandra, I answered vitamin B in there. I hope that has answered your question now. Peanuts are a legume. Sandra, vitamin B, D, calcium. Yep, beautiful, ladies. You've got it, you've got it, you've got it. Jane said her B levels were too high, so stopped taking supplement. Good. It's really good to get your blood results checked. Getting your blood results checked every 12 months is probably a really good idea. Just a random checkup, make sure those sorts of things, make sure you're not overdosing on vitamins and minerals, but those ones generally won't overdose on if you're doing it smartly. Right, beautiful. All right, I'm going to do a scroll up. I'm just going to do a random scroll because it is the first of the month. It's our first live of the month. And when I stop, see, I'm looking at the screen. I'm actually scrolling off the screen. I'm looking at the camera, so you know I'm not looking. I'm scrolling off the screen through the comments. And when I stop, I am going to give a prize to the person at the top just for commenting. So here we go. Up and down. 3, 2, 1, stop. And the person is Sandra. Sandra Daly, congratulations. She listed all the vitamins. Beautiful. I love how all of you have done that too. Sandra, could you please, I might have your email already. I'm going to email you, Sandra, with a gift voucher to spend. Lovely. Thank you for joining us tonight. Does anybody have any more questions before we log off for the night? So let me know questions in the comments below. Oh, you're very welcome, Sandra. Oh, Meredith's here. Hi, Meredith. I can see Bonnie's here. Hi, Bonnie, Kylie. I love having you guys here with me on a Sunday night. Guys, you should see my view. It's gone a bit dark now, but it's absolutely gorgeous outside. So I'm just waiting another few seconds. Like I said, it takes about 30 seconds for those comments to come through. Hi, Bonnie. Lovely. Alrighty. Doesn't look like there's any comments, but of course, if there are, pop them in. Ask them in the group too. Feel free to ask them in this group, guys. If you've got questions that you want me to answer, always feel free to put them in this group. Even though it asks, like it'll tell you your post needs to be pre-approved, I'll get to it. I'll get to it as well. So make sure you're posting in this group as well, and we can get to that. You're very welcome, Sandra. All right, so as always, if you've got any other questions, let me know. I think that's enough for a live Q&A tonight. You've definitely got those 4 vitamins and minerals sorted. You know what you need to do. Have an amazing week, and I'll catch up with you soon. Bye.